Coffin, red dress, beautiful girl. For a moment, everyone was stunned. Could it really be that Yun Chujio was resurrected? After the red-dressed girl came out of the coffin, she actually slowly walked towards old Master Yi. Her manners were myriad, and every step was like a lotus. It was indescribably noble and elegant. It was as if the fairy of the 9 heavens had descended to the mortal world. Old Master Yi's heart was filled with mixed feelings. Although he already knew that this was a play designed by Yun Chujio, when he saw the red-clothed girl slowly walking over, his eyes still welled up with tears. He was wrong. He had thought that the land girl's daughter had a temperament that was more like a country bumpkin, and less like a first-class family's daughter. At this moment, it looked like even the first-class family's daughter might not be able to catch up to her bearing and nobility. This great-granddaughter would definitely be the most dazzling heaven's favorite in the immortal Yuan continent in the future. Yun Chujio walked in front of great-grandfather Yi and bowed. Great-grandfather, little Jio is unfilial. I frightened you. Great-grandfather Yi's hand trembled slightly as he supported her. It's good that you're fine. It's good that you're fine. Yi Binji's eyes widened. My goodness, this little Jio really knows how to put on an act. She's too beautiful. Yi Bingying's body swayed on the verge of collapse. Her mind was blank and her face was as pale as snow. Yun Chujio actually didn't die? And she actually became so beautiful. This was impossible. This was impossible. At this time, everyone came to their senses. There were all sorts of praises and surprised voices. An old man said, "Old man Yi, quickly ask this little girl what's going on. How did she come back from the dead? What's going on?" Everyone chimed in one after another, their hearts practically dying of curiosity. Only then did old Master Yi ask, "Little 9th girl, didn't you die of a sudden illness? What on earth is going on?" Just as old Master Yi's words fell, Yun Chujio's eyes rolled and she actually fainted. Everyone was in a flurry again. Right at this moment, Yun Chujio suddenly stood up to meditate, and then someone cried out in surprise, "Look! That little girl's spiritual power level is changing." Heavens! She actually rose from the first layer of the Ling Xian realm to the 3rd layer of the Ling Xian realm. Could it be that she had an epiphany? Oh right, wasn't there an old man's voice earlier? Could it be the messenger of Tian Dao? You're right. Wasn't Yi Bingyu the favored child of Tian Dao previously? Not only did Tian Dao save her, but he also gave her an opportunity. Just as everyone was discussing, Yun Chujio opened her eyes. Everyone was surprised to find that the little girl's temperament was different from before. If she was graceful before, she had become playful and cute now. The little girl looked at everyone blankly, then threw herself into the arms of great-grandfather Yi and cried, "Sob, great-grandfather, I thought I would never see you again. Sob, I thought I was going to die." Although there were no strict rules like the 7-year-old difference between men and women in the immortal Essence continent, great-grandfather Yi was still very embarrassed by Yun Chujio's pounce. He could only say dryly, "It's okay. It's okay." Yun Chujio cried for quite a while before she stopped crying. Great-grandfather Yi was forced by everyone's curiosity and could only ask again, "Little Jio, what exactly happened? How did you come back to life?" Yun Chujio pouted. "I don't know either. I just vaguely felt that someone was calling me little sister Jio. I tried to open my eyes, but no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't open them. At that moment, it was as if an explosion had occurred in my mind, and then I didn't know anything." When everyone heard Yun Chujio's words, they immediately made guesses. Yun Chujio must have woken up after hearing Yi Binji's shout. The explosion later was probably the old man's voice that we heard. Also, her performance now is completely different from before. Maybe she just received the heaven's gift, which is why her bearing is so noble and elegant. Yes, what you said makes sense. Her spiritual power has increased by 2 levels. She is indeed the favored child of Tian Dao, a person with great fortune. Sometimes, it was more effective to say half words or vague words, because people's imagination was very strong. Very soon, most people looked at Yun Chujio with burning eyes. What did the favored child of Tiandao mean? It meant that this little girl would have a lot of opportunities. It meant that this little girl's future was limitless. Therefore, some madams immediately surrounded Yun Chujio. Some praised her beauty, some praised her cleverness, some praised her filial piety. In short, they were all flattering words. Yun Chujio was a long-sleeved good dancer. She was best at dealing with people. Her small mouth was as sweet as honey. Instantly, everyone was overjoyed. They felt that this little girl in front of them was more likable. Yi Bingying was so angry that she gritted her teeth. She wished that she could immediately rush forward and tell the truth. This Yun Chujio was a liar. She was not seriously ill at all. She had fallen into a volcano. However, even though she had been blinded by jealousy, she did not dare to really say it. If she did, old Master Yi would not let her off. The expressions of Gushi and Lushi were also very ugly. Yun Chujio's current performance was equivalent to giving them a hard slap in the face. Especially when Gushi had just said that Yun Chujio was a good-for-nothing. In the end, she had become the favored child of Tiandao. Minshi was both happy and worried. She was naturally happy that Yun Chujio did not die. Their second branch had a powerful helper. She was worried that Yun Chujio's resurrection this time was most likely done with Yi Bingyi's help. Gushi and Lushi would definitely take revenge on their second branch. Old Master Yi stroked his beard. Although he was angry that he had been deceived, he had to admit that this little girl was really good. After performing this resurrection from the dead, she completed a perfect appearance. In the future, when the people of the Eastern continent mentioned Yun Chujio, the first person they would think of would definitely be Tiandao's favorite. The heavenly thunder spirit was originally her disadvantage, but now it had become her advantage. The funeral definitely could not continue, but the banquet still had to be eaten. Everyone drank heartily, and it was very lively. A certain Jiao, who was supposed to be dead, shuttled through the crowd like a small fish. Everywhere she went, there would be cheers and laughter. Yi Bingyu, who was pulled by her side, almost had a stiff smile on her face. However, she knew that Yun Chujio had good intentions. This was a good opportunity to show her face. Everyone's impression of Yi Bingyu was also very good. She was a girl who valued friendship and loyalty. Moreover, she was a legitimate daughter-in-law of the Yi manor. This was a good candidate for a future daughter-in-law. Minshi saw all of this and made a decision in her heart. She decided to accept the method Yun Chujio told her to break out of this situation. Regardless of whether Yun Chujio's spiritual power was strong or not, with this intelligence, she would definitely become a heaven's chosen in the immortal Yuan continent. Birds would fly far away with phoenixes and phoenixes. It would definitely not be wrong for Bingyu to follow her. Some were happy, while others were angry. Gushi and the others forced themselves to exchange pleasantries with the crowd and even went against their hearts to agree with the words of Yun Chujio and Yi Bingyu. They were so aggrieved that they wanted to vomit blood. After 3 drinks and 5 dishes, everyone stood up and took their leave. Great-grandfather Yi glanced at Yun Chujio. This fellow followed great-grandfather Yi into his study. Great-grandfather Yi slapped the desk. "Little Jiao, how dare you?" Yun Chujio bared her white teeth. "Thank you, great-grandfather, for your praise. Actually, I'm very timid. You don't know that when I fell down, I thought I was dead for sure. Sob, I thought at that time, I haven't been properly filial to you yet, and am actually going to die. I really can't die in peace. Stop talking nonsense. Tell me what exactly happened." When old Master Yi heard the first half of the sentence, he was so angry that he glared at her. However, when he heard the last half of the sentence, the anger in his heart immediately disappeared. Yun Chujio immediately explained the story that she had prepared. In order to prove that what she said was true, she even went to the courtyard and took out the 3-eyed purple-tailed iron-clawed eagle. "Great-grandfather, look, I'm not lying to you, right? I heard that the skin of this thing is a good material for making boots. It'll give you a pair of gifts when the time comes." Fortunately, the 3-eyed purple-tailed iron-clawed eagle was big enough. Otherwise, it would not be enough for this product to send gifts. Great-grandfather Yi took a closer look. There were indeed many wounds on the three-eyed purple-tailed iron-claw eagle's body, and most of them were burn marks. They were consistent with the fire-eating shio that Yun Chujio had mentioned. Although great-grandfather Yi still had some doubts in his heart, he had already believed 80% of it. He sighed in his heart. This little girl was really blessed. Not only did she not die when she fell into the volcano, she even got a great bargain. Then why did you hide in the coffin and play tricks? Did you teach the ice feather girl what she said? Don't you know that Gushi and Bingying made a fool of themselves, and our Yi family also lost face? Old Master Yi asked with a frown. Great-grandfather, I was forced to do this. You already told the public that I died of a sudden illness. If I suddenly jumped in, wouldn't it make your face look bad? As for what Sister Bingyu said, I was indeed the one who asked her to say it. However, I wasn't the one who asked Grandmother Gu and Sister Bingying to slander me. They can only blame themselves for not being able to keep their cool. Great-grandfather, not only should you not blame me, you should also thank me. Sister Bingying is proud and arrogant, so she should be hit a little, otherwise, I'm afraid there won't be any big developments. Yun Chujio said with a smile. She knew in her heart that she was now the Yi family's movable sign. Old Master Yi wouldn't really punish her severely. Glib tongue. Don't think that I don't know about your little schemes. Gushi and Bingying were indeed a little stupid, but if it wasn't for you setting a trap, they wouldn't have embarrassed themselves. Seeing that you were frightened, I'll let it go this time. If there's a next time, I won't let you off lightly. Do you hear me? Yes. Great-grandfather, don't worry. There definitely won't be a next time. Yun Chujio thought to herself. HMH, if Gushi provoked her again, it wouldn't be as simple as letting them embarrass themselves. Old Master Yi asked for some more details before letting Yun Chujio go. The next morning, Yun Chujio and the others sat on the flying spirit tool again and returned to the academy. Housekeeper Fu was supposed to escort them. However, Housekeeper Fu suddenly vomited and had diarrhea, so Yi Yuanliang had no choice but to let Deputy Housekeeper Lu escort them. The flying spirit tool once again flew to the place where Yun Chujio fell. Yun Chujio looked out of the observation window and thought to herself, that fire-eating shio is probably still cursing me. Just as Yun Chujio's thoughts were running wild, she felt the flying spirit tool tremble violently. Occasionally missing content, please report errors in time. 3 Masters, this flying spirit tool has some problems. There is a patch of grass in front of us. Let's land first. I will bring some people to check it out. I think it will be repaired very soon. If it is a big problem, I will call out another flying spirit tool. It will definitely not delay the 3 Masters' journey. Deputy Butler Lu wiped the sweat on his forehead and said. Yi Wenhong frowned. Why didn't you check when we set off? Forget it. Anyway, we've already left the Sky Fire Valley. There shouldn't be any danger. Let's land. Yi Wenhong was the oldest, so he made a decision. Yun Chujio and Yi Bingyu naturally couldn't object, so the flying spirit tool landed on a piece of grass. Everyone got off the flying spirit tool. Deputy Housekeeper Lu brought people to check the flying spirit tool, while Yun Chujio and the other 2 were casually looking at the scenery. Yun Chujio frowned. This grassland was close to a dense forest. If there were people hiding in the dense forest, it would be very difficult to find them. In addition, Housekeeper Fu was sick, and there was something strange about this flying spirit tool. Could it be that Gushi or Lu Shi were stupid enough to want to kill her now? Thinking of this, Yun Chujio said to Deputy Housekeeper Lu, time is tight. Stop checking. Just summon another flying spirit tool. Deputy Butler Liu's eyes flickered. Miss, I've found the problem. It'll be fixed in 15 minutes. Besides, the speed of the other flying spirit tool is not as fast as this one. It's better to wait for this one to be fixed. Yun Chujio was now 90% sure that there was something fishy going on. The only thing she was not sure about was whether Yi Wenhong knew or not. Cousin Wenhong, what do you think we should do if a group of people comes out from the forest and wants to kill us? Yun Chujio stared into Yi Wenhong's eyes and said worriedly. Yi Wenhong smiled. Little Jio, you are too daydreaming. Our Yi family is a first-class family. Who would dare to make a move on us? Don't worry. If someone really comes to kill us, I will protect you and bing you. Yun Chujio saw that Yi Wenhong's eyes were clear and there was no ambiguity in his words. It seemed that he did not know about it. It was just that those people would not kill him. Moreover, it was because Yi Wenhong was also on this flying spirit tool. Even if something happened, no one would suspect that it was Gu Shi or Lu Shi who did it. It was really a good plan. Cousin Wenhong, come over here. I want to talk to you for a moment. Yun Chujio blinked her eyes to let Yi Wenhong close to her ear. Yi Wenhong did not understand what was going on. He walked up to Yun Chujio and when he heard Yun Chujio's words, his face immediately turned ashen. He was just about to speak when Yun Chujio said something again. Yi Wenhong snorted coldly and stood at the side without saying anything. Yi Bingyu did not know what had happened. She tugged at Yun Chujio's sleeve. Her relationship with Yi Wenhong had always been good. As Yi Wenhong was a boy, he had always been taught by Yi Yuanliang and the old master. Fortunately, he did not grow crooked. He still took good care of Yi Bingyu. Yun Chujio only smiled at Yi Bingyu and did not say anything. Yi Bingyu had already turned from a violent little lion into a little sheep. Therefore, when she saw that Yun Chujio did not say anything, she did not dare to ask further. At this moment, dozens of masked men suddenly rushed out from the dense forest and surrounded Yun Chujio and the rest. Other than Deputy Butler Lu, Yi Yuanyang also sent 10 guards to follow them. Those guards immediately protected Yun Chujio and the other 2 in the middle and confronted the masked men. Yi Wenhong's eyes flashed with disbelief. He glanced at Yun Chujio who had a terrified expression on her face and looked at the masked men with a complicated expression. Occasionally missing content, please report errors in time. Everyone, what do you mean by this? We are all members of the Yi family. Have you eaten the heart of a bear or the courage of a leopard? Deputy Butler Lu said loudly. One of the masked men snorted coldly. It's your Yi family that's being robbed. Don't worry, our target is only that Yun Chujio. As long as you hand her over, we will spare your lives. Otherwise, all of you will die. How outrageous! Cousin Miss is a member of our Yi family, why would we hand her over to you? Prepare to die. Deputy Butler Lu said as he rushed towards the masked man. Unfortunately, he was knocked down to the ground and tied up in less than 10 moves. Yun Chujio sneered in her heart. Acting should be more professional. As the deputy butler of the Yi family, would he be so impulsive as to go up and fight one-on-one? Moreover, was it necessary for him to be so useless? The masked man said viciously, if you don't want to die, then obediently hand Yun Chujio over to us. We have more than 3 times the number of you. If you persist in resisting, only death awaits you. I can go with you. After all, I have always been the most self-sacrificing person. I can't implicate them because of me. However, I want to know why you have captured me? Yun Chujio asked with a faint smile. The masked man obviously didn't expect Yun Chujio to be so calm. He paused for a moment, then he said, it's very simple. Aren't you Tian Dao's favored son? My master wants to taste the taste of Tian Dao's favored son. If you serve my master well, maybe he will reward you as a concubine. You motherfucker! Little Jio, don't be stupid. Let's rush out. Yi Bingyu shouted angrily. Yun Chujio looked at Yi Bingyu with satisfaction and then smiled at the masked man. TSK, I'm afraid your master will be disappointed. Your acting skills are really too clumsy. Cousin Wenhong, come over here for a moment. Everyone present was a little dumbfounded. Yun Chujio's words did not make sense. Was she scared silly? Yi Wenhong's expression was very complicated. He gritted his teeth and walked in front of Yun Chujio. Then, something that shocked everyone happened. Yun Chujio actually took out a large kitchen knife and placed it on Yi Wenhong's neck. Yi Bingyu cried out in shock. Little Jio, are you crazy? Idiot! If you don't want to die, come over. Protect my back. Yun Chujio glared at her. Yi Bingyi's body obviously reacted faster than her brain. She subconsciously formed a defensive stance with Yun Chujio's back to back. Housekeeper Fu, who was tied up, shouted loudly, "Miss Cousin, what are you doing? Are you crazy?" Yun Chujio revealed a mocking smile. "Deputy Housekeeper Lu, is your master old Madame Gu or my Aunt Lucia?" Housekeeper Fuss pupils shrank. "You, what nonsense are you talking about? The Yi family is extremely indebted to you. You actually want to kill young Master Wenhong. You are simply unscrupulous." "Tisisuke, you speak as if you're a human. Enough, in front of me, your acting skills are insufficient. Be it Gu Shi or Lu Shi, you don't want my handsome cousin Wenhong to lose his life, right? If he were to suffer even the slightest bit of injury, I'm afraid that your family members would all die." Yun Chujio said mockingly. The masked man and Deputy Housekeeper Lu, who were in the lead, revealed a look of panic in their eyes. The 10 guards of the Yi residence were clearly a little dumbfounded. What was going on? Yi Wenhong saw the expressions of the masked man and Deputy Steward Lu and closed his eyes. He did not argue or struggle. It was clear that he had accepted his fate. Yi Wenhong recalled what Yun Chujio had said to him before. "Cousin Wenhong, I'm guessing that there will be people rushing out from the jungle in a while. Moreover, as long as you give me your names, I'll let you go. Sigh, it's not that I'm being petty. Those people are most likely Grandmother Ji or Aunt Guess people. Cousin Wenhong, don't be anxious with me first. When the time comes, you'll cooperate obediently and let me kidnap you. You'll be able to understand." Although Yi Wenhong knew that Gu Shi and Lu Shi usually acted in a petty manner, he never dreamed that they would want to kill Yun Chujio. There was no need to look for any evidence. The performance of these people was enough to prove that the person behind them was either Gu Shi or Lu Shi. Yi Wenhong sighed in his heart. Regardless of whether it was his grandmother or his mother who did this, they were really muddle-headed. Fortunately, little Jiu was vigilant. Otherwise, if he really killed her, his great-grandfather probably wouldn't spare them. "Cousin Wenhong, now is not the time for you to sleep. Tell them to leave. If they all leave, I won't mention anything about today's matter to anyone else. If they persist in not coming to their senses, then don't blame my cousin for being ruthless," Yun Chujio said coldly. "All of you leave. Regardless of whether it was grandmother or mother who instructed you, I will give them an explanation," Yi Wenhong said dejectedly. For a moment, the masked man and Deputy Butler Lu were at a loss. They had thought of many possibilities, such as Yun Chujio being unwilling to let the flying spirit tool land, or she was struggling with all her might. But even in their dreams, they had never thought that it would actually be such an awkward situation. The guards of the Yi residence had now come back to their senses. In their hearts, they hated Deputy Butler Lu to death. Damn it, so it was all his doing. If they were to succeed, the guards would not be spared from punishment after they returned to the residence. Moreover, these people might even kill them to silence them. Just as the guards of the Yi residence were fuming with anger, they heard Yun Chujio say, "I know you are innocent. Protect us well. I will protect your lives." The guards were still uncertain. Hearing Yun Chujio's words, they immediately grabbed their life-saving straw and eagerly protected Yun Chujio and the other two. With the protection of these guards, it was basically impossible for the masked men to save Yi Wenhong. Yun Chujio asked Yi Bingyu to summon her flying spirit tool. Under the cover of the guards of the Yi residence, the group boarded the flying spirit tool and left. Deputy Butler Lu, who remained in the same place, was both angry and afraid. He cursed, "Damn it, why aren't you releasing me? The old madam won't forgive us for failing the task." The masked man said in a bad mood, "You still have the face to blame me? Since you know that that stinky girl has a lot of bad water, why don't you isolate the eldest young master? The eldest young master is the same. He was actually kidnapped so easily. He's really, really unlucky." While the dogs were biting each other, Yun Chujio had already released Yi Wenhong from the flying spirit tool. She said with a smile, "Cousin Wenhong, I'm really sorry about what happened just now. You won't blame me, right?" Yi Wenhong smiled bitterly. Although his talent was not as good as Yi Bingying's, he had been raised as the heir of the Yi family since he was young, so he could see through many things very clearly. Little sister Jio is extremely intelligent. Grandmother and mother are absolutely not your match. I only have one request. If one day they fall into your hands, can you spare their lives? Cousin Wenhong, your words are so meaningless. I'm not a big devil. Why would I kill Grandmother Gu and aunt for no reason? Instead of making a promise to me, you might as well persuade them not to kill me anymore. I'm so timid, but am very afraid, Yun Chujio said with a faint smile. Occasionally missing content, please report errors in time. Yi Binjia's eyes twitched at the side. Damn it, don't joke around. You're the only one who's timid? You dare to use a large kitchen knife to force Gusher's neck, you dare to snatch food from the fire-eating Shio's mouth, and you dare to play tricks in the coffin. If you're timid, there's no one in this world who's brave enough. Yi Wenhong's face stiffened and he said dryly, the next time it's time for a break, I'll persuade them. Little Jio, what are you going to do about this matter? Although Yun Chujio had promised not to mention it to anyone, it was obviously not possible. After all, there were still 10 guards from the Yi residence. There was no such thing as an impenetrable wall, and they would be exposed sooner or later. Sigh, Cousin Wenhong, I really want to hide this matter, but I'm afraid it's not possible. How about this, I'll do you a favor and you tell Aunt about it. Whether it's what she did or Grandmother Gu did, push the blame to that deputy butler Lu and the masked leader, and then kill them to silence them. This matter will not be traced back to them. Yun Chujio picked up a spirit fruit and said to Yi Wenhong as she chewed on it. Yi Wenhong suddenly stood up. Yi Bingyu, who was at the side, suddenly became nervous, but Yun Chujio did not care at all and continued to eat the fruit happily. Crack crack. Yi Wenhong let out a long sigh and sat back in his chair dejectedly. Little Jio, you are indeed. Yi Wenhong really could not say the ruthless words in his heart. Little Jio had only used the people behind the scenes to kill Deputy Butler Lu and the masked leader. If one wanted to say ruthless words, it should be the culprit behind the scenes. However, she was so decisive and shrewd at such a young age. How could his mother and grandmother be her opponent? If she made mistakes again and again, she was afraid that she would only end up dead. Sure enough, what? Sure enough, she is ruthless? Cousin Wenhong, being merciful to the enemy is being cruel to yourself. Today, I did not blow up the matter because of you. Otherwise, it would not be a matter of 2 small lackeys dying. Yun Chujio threw the fruit core aside, she leaned back on the chair and said faintly. Yi Wenhong nodded with a complicated expression. Little Jio, you don't have to say any more. I understand. I'll do as you say. Very soon, the spaceship arrived at the outskirts of Tianluo City. The 10 guards of the Yi residence looked at each other. They were really uncertain. This young lady said that she would save their lives, but after hearing this, the person behind this assassination was actually the old madam or the first madam. Was there any way for them to survive? At this moment, Yun Chujio waved at them. You don't have to return to the Yi family for the time being. I will tell great-grandfather that you will follow me from now on. Take these spirit stones. Rent a courtyard in Tianluo City and wait for my orders at all times. Although the guards were very surprised, it was better to save their lives than anything else. Moreover, although this young lady's spiritual power was a little low, her brain was too smart. It was definitely not wrong to follow her. Yi Wenhong watched coldly from the side. He couldn't help but admire her even more. Not only did this little cousin resolve a crisis, she even took the opportunity to subdue 10 guards. She was truly extremely intelligent. Everyone entered Tianluo City. The guards of the Yi residence sent Yun Chujio to the gate of the Xingtian Academy. Only then did they follow Yun Chujio's instructions to rent a courtyard. After Yun Chujio entered the Xingtian Academy, she went straight to Dean Gongsun's study. Yes, she used the back door. Occasionally missing content, please report errors in time. After all, she had delayed her lessons for 3 days. If she didn't use the back door, she might not be punished. After the guards passed the message, Yun Chujio entered Dean Gongsun's study room. Dean Gongsun had good ears and eyes. He already knew most of the things that had happened to Yun Chujio in the past few days. He couldn't help but be surprised. He didn't expect that in just a few days, Mo Fangchao, no, Yun Chujio had actually gone from a distant branch of a third-class family. She had suddenly become the daughter of a first-grade family, and was even rumored to be the favored child of the Tiandao. It was really surprising. Yun Chujio bowed respectfully and took out Old Master Ye's personal letter and handed it to Dean Gongsun. Originally, Old Master Yi wanted Yi Yuanyang to write this letter, but Yun Chujio was smart enough to beg Old Master Yi to write one. What a joke! Old Master Ye's face was much greater than Yi Yuanliang's. As expected, Dean Gongsun's expression turned solemn when he saw great-grandfather Ye's private seal on the envelope. After Dean Gongsun finished reading the letter, he pondered for a moment. Mo, Yun Chujio, although there is a reason for this, you have also delayed 3 days of classes. According to the Academy's rules, Dean Gongsun had yet to finish his words. Yun Chujio took out a jade box and placed it on the table. Great-grandfather Dean, this is the inner core of the three-eyed purple-tailed iron-clawed eagle that I accidentally obtained. My knowledge is limited, so it would be a waste to leave it with me. I'll give it to you. Although Dean Gongsun wasn't an ignorant person, the inner core of the 45th level three-eyed purple-tailed iron-clawed eagle was priceless and couldn't be bought even if one had money. He was somewhat tempted. Yun Chujio was very shrewd. She knew that there was a reason for this when she saw the change in Dean Gongsun's expression. Then she said, "Actually, I'm giving you this inner core because I'm asking for your help. I know that you're good at refining pills. If you use it to refine pills in the future and give me a few, I'll be eternally grateful." All right. In the future, when I refine pills, I'll give you a bottle. Even though you've delayed the course for 3 days, it happened too suddenly, and it wasn't under the control of manpower. Let's forget about it this time. It won't happen again. Dean Gongsun said seriously. Yes. I'll definitely strictly abide by the Academy's discipline in the future. Lord Dean, I'll take my leave then. Yun Chujio cursed in her heart. Sure enough, money could make the devil move the millstone. Dean Gongsun waved his hand. Yun Chujio then respectfully left Dean Gongsun's courtyard and strolled towards the dormitory. This fellow conveniently picked the fruit on the fruit tree by the roadside and chewed as he walked. It was currently lunchtime and there were many people on the road. However, when everyone saw Yun Chujio picking the fruit, they acted as if they didn't see it. What a joke! If they went to report it, they would be looking for trouble. Just as Yun Chujio was walking forward, Jin Ji and Shui Wuji ran over. "Little Jio, you're finally back." The three of them chatted and laughed as they walked towards the dormitory. At this moment, they were blocked by someone. Yun Chujio looked and saw that the person who blocked the road was Zhu Jingtai and his followers. Mo Fangchao, don't think that you're so great just because you have points. I've asked around. Your family is just a distant branch of the Mo family. Do you know where I come from, young master? I'm from the Zhu family. Our Zhu family is a second-class family. If you don't satisfy me today, it'll make your Mo family suffer. The reason why Zhu Jingtai was acting like this was Shiruoxia's idea. Since there was no way to teach Yun Chujio a lesson, then she would use her family to threaten her. She would definitely give in. Occasionally missing content, please report errors in time. Zhu Jingtai's clamor naturally attracted a lot of onlookers. Mo Fangbing was among them. When she heard Zhu Jingtai's words, she squeezed out of the crowd and said to Zhu Jingtai, "Zhu Jingtai, my mother is also a member of the Zhu family. Our Mo family and the Zhu family are in-laws. Let's forget about this matter." Zhu Jingtai glanced at Mo Fangbing. He sneered, "Your mother is just a concubine's daughter. How can she be considered in-laws? Cut the crap. Mo Fangbing, if you kneel at my feet and kowtow to me 100 times, I will show mercy and spare you. Otherwise, not to mention that small branch of yours, even the original family of the Mo family will be in trouble." Mo Fangbing's face turned red from Zhu Jingtai's ridicule. She could not help but vent her anger on Yun Chujio. She stared at Yun Chujio coldly. "Fangbing, the disaster was caused by you. You won't let the family be implicated by you, right?" Yun Chujio glanced at Mo Fongbing and said, Sister Fongbing, according to your opinion, what should I do? I don't care what you do. Just don't implicate the family. Great-grandfather shouldn't have helped you manage the identity of a resident of the Eastern continent. He really raised an ingrate. Mo Fongbing glared at Yun Chujio with resentment. She originally thought that she wouldn't be implicated if she drew a clear line with her. She didn't expect that she would still be implicated. Zhu Jingtai said smugly from the side, Mo Fangchao, did you hear that? Your Mo family wishes to cut ties with you. You are really pitiful. Why aren't you kneeling down? Otherwise, the Mo family might remove you from the list. The surrounding people discussed animatedly. This Mo Fangchao was probably going to admit defeat this time. No matter how many points she had, how could she not care about the life and death of her family? Although that Zhu Jingtai was not a direct descendant of the Zhu family, his grandfather was a brother of the Zhu family's family head, so he could still have some say in the Zhu family. Mo Fangchao was only a distant descendant of a third-class family. Her status could be said to be very different. She had no other choice but to admit defeat. At this moment, the crowd saw that Yun Chujio actually giggled and laughed very happily. Is this guy crazy? Is he trying to pretend to be crazy to get out of this? He can only hide from Chuyi, but he can't hide from 15. Can he continue to pretend to be crazy? Just as everyone was thinking about it, they saw Yun Chujio take out an identity jade token. You want to use your identity to pressure me? TSK, I originally thought that using your identity to pressure others wasn't something to be proud of. After all, people can't decide where you come from. However, since you are willing to do this, I can only follow your example. Here, open your dog eyes and look at this identity jade token. Look at my current identity. Zhu Jingtai did not even look at the jade token in Yun Chujio's hand. He curled his lips and said, You are really boasting shamelessly. What other identity can you have? Aren't you just a distant relative of the Mo family? You even have a jade token. You really overestimate yourself. Yun Chujio didn't argue with him. She pointed at a student and said, Come here. Help him take a look at this jade token. The student who was pointed at took the jade token casually. However, when he saw the material and content of the jade token, his hand trembled. His eyes were wide open and his mouth was wide open. He couldn't say a word. Seeing this, Zhu Jingtai said with even more disdain, I guess no one has seen your identity jade token in the Western continent. Don't embarrass yourself by taking it out. Hearing Zhu Jingtai's words, the student shook his head repeatedly and cried out in surprise, No, no, no. Yi family, first class, first wife daughter. Occasionally missing content, please report errors in time. What nonsense are you talking about? Li Huan, go and see what's going on. Zhu Jingtai glared at the student and said to one of his lackeys behind him. The student called Li Huan took a step forward and snatched the jade token from the student's hand. He muttered, You're really ignorant. It's just a lower-class jade token from the Western continent. It's worth it for you. Li Huan's voice came to an abrupt stop. He looked as if he had seen a ghost and said in horror, This, the identity jade token of the first-class Yi family? The first-class daughter? How could you be the first-class daughter of the Yi family? Yun Chujio only curled the corners of her mouth and did not say anything. Zhu Jingtai could not hold it in any longer. He snatched the jade token and took a look. On the front of the jade token was written, First-class family Yi, and behind it was written, Second-class daughter of the first-class family Jiao. Zhu Jingtai's face was filled with fear at first, then he laughed coldly as if he had suddenly realized something. Mo Fangchao, you actually stole the Yi family's identity jade token. You're dead meat. Yun Chujio looked at him as if she was looking at an idiot. Then, she took out the identity document from her storage ring and handed it to Li Huan. You read it out for everyone to hear. It's just the right time for everyone to get to know me, Yun Chujio, once again. Li Huan took the identity document and read it nervously. The original third-class family, Guangshun Ji Mo Fangchao, has been applied by the first-class family, the Yi family. Now, She is the second daughter of the Yi family's second son, Yijiong. Her name has been changed to Yun Chujio. After reading it, Li Huan felt his legs go weak. He returned the identity document to Yun Chujio while trembling. Miss Yun, I don't know anything. Please don't lower yourself to my level. Just treat me as a fart and let me go. Yun Chujio ignored him and said to everyone clearly, Everyone, I believe you have heard it clearly. From now on, there will be no more black fragrant grass in this world. There will only be me, Yun Chujio. Don't worry. Although I accidentally became the first-class Yi family's first-class daughter, I have never cared about bullying others. However, if someone wants to compare family background with me and use my family to bully me, then I'm sorry, I can only return a tooth for a tooth. Yun Chujio said until here. She sneered at Zhu Jingtai. Zhu Jingtai, am I right? Your Zhu family is a second-class family, so powerful, I'm so scared. Didn't you want to destroy my family? They'll send a message to the Yi family right now, saying that your Zhu family wants to destroy the Yi family and get them ready. Otherwise, it would be terrible if they were really destroyed by your Zhu family. Zhu Jingtai was already scared silly. He kept shaking his head. No, it's impossible. These things of yours must be fake. You can't be the direct daughter of the Yi family. How could the Yi family inherit a good-for-nothing like you for no reason? At this moment, a student in the crowd said, What she said is true. I also just heard the news. Yun Chujio's mother is the granddaughter of old Master Yi. Moreover, Yun Chujio was not only adopted to the second branch of the Yi family, but she is also said to be the favored child of Tian Dao. Now, the first-class families in the eastern continent have already received the news. I'm afraid that your Zhu family isn't qualified enough. That's why you don't know about this news. That student was related to a first-class family, so he only received the news. At this moment, his words couldn't help but contain some complacency. Zhu Jingtai's face instantly turned deathly pale. His head buzzed. The Yi family was the outstanding person in a first-class family. Their Zhu family was only a second-class family, not to mention that he wasn't even a direct descendant. If the Yi family were to pursue this matter, perhaps the Zhu family would remove him in order to avoid being implicated. The more Zhu Jingtai thought about it, the more afraid he became. Bean-sized beads of sweat dripped down from his forehead. His legs went soft and he collapsed onto the ground. Occasionally missing content. Please report errors in time. Yun Chujio had a faint smile on her face. She stared at Zhu Jingtai without saying anything. This kind of uncertain fear was even more torturous. When the situation was in a stalemate, a person walked over and slapped Zhu Jingtai twice. Idiot! Why aren't you apologizing to Junior Yun? Brother, why did you hit me? Zhu Jingtai looked at the person in shock. The person who came had a pair of Diao Shaoyin. It was Zhu Jingtai's brother, Zhu Jingtong. Cut the crap. Why aren't you apologizing to Junior Yun? Zhu Jingtong gave Zhu Jingtai a look. Zhu Jingtai could only say dryly, I'm sorry. If saying sorry can solve the problem, then am I the one who killed you? Saying sorry is fine too? Yun Chujio mocked. Then what do you want? Zhu Jingtai was angry and afraid. On one hand, he resented Yun Chujio, and on the other hand, he resented Shi Luoxia who gave him advice. What did you say to me before? You want me to kneel down and kowtow 100 times, right? Then do it now. That person, help him count. Not a single one less. Yun Chujio pointed casually. She was referring to that Li Huan. Li Huan nodded and bowed as he quickly agreed. Don't worry, I promise to count properly. I won't let him miss a single kowtow. Zhu Jingtai glared at Li Huan. Li Huan spread his hands helplessly. There was nothing he could do. The person in front of him was his ancestor. As for you, get lost. Yun Chujio, don't go too far. I don't believe that the Yi family will really go against the Zhu family just because of you. Zhu Jingtai said while clenching his teeth. Yun Chujio curled her lips. Then let's try. After saying that, Yun Chujio made a move to leave, but unexpectedly, Zhu Jingtong kicked the crook of Zhu Jingtai's leg and then pressed Zhu Jingtong's head to kowtow to Yun Chujio. Li Huan, who was at the side, quickly counted loudly. 1 3 99, 100. Junior Yun, Jingtai already knows that he's wrong. What do you think about this? Zhu Jingtong asked carefully. If he doesn't provoke me again, I won't bother to find trouble with him. However, if he goes to court death, I'll let your Zhu family die with him. After Yun Chujio finished speaking, she left with Xue Wuji and Jin Ji. Zhu Jingtai glared at Zhu Jingtong with resentment and staggered far away. Zhu Jingtong frowned and chased after her. The people who were left behind immediately exploded. Oh my god! This Mo Fangchao, no, this Yun Chujio was simply lucky. She actually went from a distant branch of a third-class family to the daughter of a first-class family. This is simply like a sparrow turning into a phoenix. Yeah, it really makes people envious. The Yi family is ranked near the top even among first-class families. She already has so many points, and now that her identity has changed, won't she be even more arrogant in the future? Sigh. She has the right to be arrogant. We'd better not provoke her in the future. Otherwise, we'll be in big trouble. Mo Fangbing's face turned green and then white. She regretted it. If she had not drawn a clear line with Yun Chujio back then, would she be able to bask in Yun Chujio's glory? If she had not spoken ill of Yun Chujio just now, would the Mo family be related to the Yi family? However, there was no medicine for regret. From now on, she and Yun Chujio were worse than strangers. If her great-grandfather knew that Yun Chujio had been succeeded by the Yi family, he would definitely vent his anger on her. Yun Chujio and the other two went to Yun Chujio's dormitory. Yun Chujio told them about the Yi family and then took out the things she bought in Yi City to give to the two of them. Little sister Jio, according to what you said, I'm afraid that Gu Shi and Lu Shi won't listen to Yi Wenhong's advice and will find trouble with you in the future. What do you plan to do? Xue Wuji crossed his legs and asked carelessly. What else can we do? Well, deal with whatever comes our way. I'm just an heir. Do you think that old Master Yi will really divorce Gu Shi and Lu Shi for me or something? It's simply impossible. The family head of these large families will always put the family's interests first, Yun Chujio said with slight ridicule. Little Jio, if that's the case, then you should go to the Yi family less in the future. They won't go to the extent of treating you badly in the academy, Jin Ji said from the side. Beauty Jin Ji, you're wrong. Xingtian Academy isn't like Tianyuan Academy. Gu Shi and Lu Shi won't need much effort to do anything here. So, I still have to go to the Yi family. Not only do I have to go, but I also have to go often. Have you heard of the word nibbling? Nibbling. I want to dissolve their influence in the Yi family bit by bit, and wear down old Master Yi's patience with them bit by bit. You guys also have to work hard in your cultivation. When the Primordial Chaos sect opens to recruit disciples next year, let's go take the exam. Xue Wuji and Jin Ji were both stunned. Little sister Jio, doesn't the Xingtian Academy take 5 years to graduate? Why do you want to go to the Primordial Chaos sect again? Besides, the Primordial Chaos sect is a super sect. Can we get in? Who cares if we get in or not? Let's go and try. Of course, it's best if we get in. If we don't, we can come back to the Xingtian Academy and continue studying, Yun Chujio said indifferently. Jin Ji was elated. Little Jio, what you said is easy. If we were to go to the Primordial Chaos sect to participate in the entrance exam, it would probably take us 2 months to go back and forth and take the exam. Can Xingtian Academy give us such a long vacation? Yun Chujio leaned back on the chair and curled her lips. Everything is done by man. There's nothing impossible in this world. If you can't do it, it's only because you haven't found the right method. Leave this matter to me. It's only true that you guys should quickly increase your spiritual power. Although Xue Wuji and Jin Ji still didn't quite believe it, when they thought of this pervert's glorious past, they also believed it a little. In the following period of time, Yun Chujio was simply a school bully in Xingtian Academy. Not to mention the first-grade students, even the higher-grade students avoided her. What a joke! This fellow had the temperament of a bandit. Now that she had the identity of the Yi family's first daughter, If she was provoked, she would simply be looking for trouble. Even the first-grade star class teacher Dong restrained himself a lot. He no longer ridiculed Yun Chujio and the other two, but he still ignored them. Whether it was asking questions in class or answering questions, Yun Chujio and the other two had never been involved. He had said many times to other teachers behind their backs, "Che, that Yun Chujio just got lucky. She won't have any great prospects in the future." In the blink of an eye, a month had passed. Yun Chujio felt that she should go to the Yi family for a stroll. Otherwise, old Master Yi would probably forget about her. However, the plan did not change quickly. On this day, Teacher Dong announced that the first test after entering the school would be held the next day. The last 30 students of the entire grade would be expelled. Occasionally missing content, please report errors in time. When the students of the star class heard the news, they all looked at Yun Chujio and the other two at the same time. Yun Chujio turned her head and glanced at the crowd. Those people immediately lowered their heads or looked away like mice seeing a cat. However, they all had a thought in their hearts. Yun Chujio, the three black sheep, was finally going to be disqualified. It was really a good thing for everyone. Teacher Dong clearly thought the same. He raised his voice and said, "Some students shouldn't think that they have special privileges just because their family background is superior to others. If they are ranked in the bottom 30 in this test, even a person from a first-class family will be expelled." Yun Chujio sneered in her heart. He was talking about her. She was the only person from a first-class family in Xingtian Academy. It seemed that this teacher Dong was not that snobbish. Of course, perhaps his snobbish eyes were different from ordinary people. They were not targeted at wealth and family background, but at the level of spiritual power. "Teacher Dong, what are the contents of our test this time?" a student asked. "I don't know either. The contents of every test in the academy are kept confidential to prevent you from making preparations in advance," Teacher Dong replied. Yun Chujio cursed silently in her heart. It was quite mysterious. This fellow had a little bit of anticipation in his heart. This time, she would let these scumbags see that she was not only a top student in the academy, but also a top student. The next day, the first-year students gathered at the Divine Axe Plaza. They were both nervous and expectant as they waited for Dean Gongsun to announce the contents of the test. You all probably know that our Heaven Punisher Academy got its name because of the Heaven Punisher Divine Axe. Your test this time is related to the Heaven Punisher Divine Axe. The Heaven Punisher Divine Axe is a divine weapon, and divine weapons aren't refined by cultivators. They are born and bred. You are going to the birthplace of the Heaven Punisher Divine Axe, the Heaven Pit of the Divine Axe. Your task is to collect the outer shell fragments that were removed when the Divine Axe was first born. The number of outer shell fragments you collect is your result. 3 people will form a group, and the last 10 groups will be expelled from the academy. The test period is 10 days. Dean Gongsun added a few more rules. It was nothing more than a ban on using talismans, prohibiting flying, and forbidding snatching. If they were in danger, they would be able to activate the jade tokens that were given to them later. Yun Chujio muttered in her heart. So it turned out that the Heaven Punisher Divine Axe was like a demonic beast, jumping out of an egg? She didn't know if the Heaven Punisher Divine Axe was in the Heaven Punisher Academy. It would be great if she had the chance to obtain it. Just as Yun Chujio's thoughts were running wild, she saw Dean Gongsun and a few vice deans surrounding the statue of the Heaven Punisher Divine Axe and forming a formation. At the same time, a teacher gave them jade tokens to use when they were in danger. Yun Chujio looked at the jade token that was given to them and saw that it said 105. This was probably their group number. Yun Chujio had suffered a loss from this jade plate before, so she threw this jade plate to the teacher and changed it to a jade plate with number 106 instead. The teacher dared to be angry but did not dare to say anything. He thought to himself, this Yun Chujio is really crazy. Could it be that 106 is more pleasing to the eye? The teacher had no choice but to re-register and then handed out the jade plate with a gloomy face. When one of the people saw this scene, his eyes could not help but shrink. This damned girl was too shrewd. She actually switched out the jade token. However, what she did not know was that the jade token was not tampered with. What was tampered with was a teleportation array. At that time, even if the jade token in her hand was good and the corresponding teleportation array was not activated, they would still die. At this time, the godly axe statue actually moved away slowly. There was a white light on the spot. It seemed to be a teleportation array. The students walked into the teleportation array according to their class. Yun Chujio and the other two also walked in. When Yun Chujio regained her sight, she realized that she was in a huge deep pit. When she looked up, she could barely see the edge of the pit wall. The wall of the pit was as smooth as a mirror, but the bottom of the pit formed a world of its own. They were in a barren land, and not far away was a grassland. In the distance, it seemed to be a dense forest. Dean Gongsun showed everyone the shell fragments of the divine axe. They were made of a material that looked like stone but not stone. It was able to emit a faint golden light, making it easy to identify. Everyone began to search according to the group. There was basically no hope of finding this wasteland because the field of vision here was very wide. If there were any fragments of the divine axe's shell, they would be able to see it at a glance. Yun Chujio and the other two were not in a hurry. They had 10 days anyway, so it was not bad to let everyone scout the way first. There might be some strange demonic beasts in this ancient deep pit, so it was better to be careful. Yun Chujio walked to the edge of the stone wall and knocked on it. This stone wall is quite similar to the stone wall of the Heavenly Dao Cliff. I wonder what kind of scene is on it. If it was not forbidden to fly, I would really like to fly up and take a look. Jean Ji rolled her eyes. I guess it is to prevent people from climbing up, so this place is forbidden to fly. Just give up. Yun Chujio's eyes lit up. A place that was afraid of people would definitely have good stuff. If it was forbidden to fly, others would not be able to fly up, but she had sticky silk. She could climb up. Then the question came. Should she climb up or not? If it was in the past, this guy might have climbed up because he was obsessed with money. However, after the honey incident last time, this guy had learned that nothing was more important than his life. Jean Ji knew this guy too well. She glared at her and said, "Don't even think about it. Let's go and find the shell fragments of the divine axe." Yun Chujio pouted and could only follow Jean Ji and Xue Wuji. This guy mumbled as he walked, "Do you think the academy is sick? What can the broken shell fragments of the Heaven Punisher divine axe do? Is it because the shell is good-looking? I think it's not as good-looking as the luminous pearls." Yun Chujio's eyes lit up when she said this. She remembered that Teacher Pang had promised her that if she got first place in the test, he would reward her with 5 luminous pearls. The guy was immediately energized. Regardless of whether the broken shell pieces were useful or not, she had to get first place. Perhaps because there were students scouting ahead, Yun Chujio and the others did not encounter any high-level demon beasts 2 days ago. However, they did not find a piece of the shell pieces of the axe. What Yun Chujio and the others did not know was that a large screen had been erected in the Divine Axe Square. On it were the numbers of each team and the number of pieces of the Divine Axe's shell fragments that they had found. Some teams had already found 5 pieces of the shell fragments. Most of them had found 1 to 3 pieces of the shell fragments. Only a few teams had not found a single piece of the shell fragment. As expected, Team 106 was among them. Teacher Dong pursed his lips and said, "How was it? I told you that Yun Chujio was a good-for-nothing, right? What Heavenly Dao's favorite? Maybe she was just making up a lie." It had to be said that Teacher Dong was telling the truth. A certain Jio was indeed making up a lie. It could only be said that the person who understood you the most was your enemy. It shouldn't be, right? At that time, many people were present. Moreover, this test had only started for 2 days. Perhaps Yun Chujio and the others would make a comeback later on. After all, during the entrance test, they would only make a comeback at the last stage every time. Teacher Pang disagreed. Another 3 days passed. Not only did Yun Chujio and the others not find a fragment of the priest's shell, they didn't even touch a single one. The three of them thought that the dense forest was the end of the godly axe pit. Unexpectedly, when they passed through the dense forest, they found that there was a valley in front of them. Looking into the distance, they still couldn't see the end. This godly axe pit is really big. Where did those people go? Why didn't we meet any team? Ji said in confusion. That's right. Although we walked a little slower, it's not to the extent that we can't see any team, right? Shui Wuji frowned and felt that something was wrong. Yun Chujio was stunned at first. She felt that this time, it seemed to be a familiar smell and formula. Could it be that they were isolated again? Could it be that the godly axe valley had also produced a Qi Ling? It couldn't be, right? If the godly axe valley had produced a Qi Ling, why would they allow everyone to search for the shell fragments of the godly axe? They should have hidden everything long ago. Then what exactly was going on? The three of them discussed for a while, but they couldn't come to a conclusion. Yun Chujio even deliberately provoked and cursed the so-called Qi Ling a few times, but there was no result. The teachers in the Divine Axe Square looked at the changes in the data on the big screen and chatted from time to time. This batch of students seems to be very lucky. They found more than the previous few times. Yeah, they probably found the right place by coincidence. The students of the day class are indeed better. Most of the groups ranked at the front are from the day class. That's right. It seems that aptitude is very important. For example, Yun Chujio and the other two. 5 days have passed, but they still haven't found a single one. I guess they will most likely be expelled. Teacher Dong listened from the side. If it were in the past, he might not be happy when others talked about the students of the star class having poor aptitude. But now, when he heard that Yun Chujio and the other two would be eliminated, he was actually very happy. It would be better if those 3 black sheep were expelled. Teacher Pang stroked his beard. He didn't know if that little girl, Yun Chujio, would create another miracle this time. He was really looking forward to it. A certain Jio, whom Teacher Pang had placed high hopes on, was currently doing her ideological work. Brother Wuji, Beauty Jinji, you've all seen the current situation. We've definitely been scammed. Although we don't know who scammed us, it has only one purpose, and that is to prevent us from finding the fragment. If we want to break this deadlock, there's only one way, and that is to climb up. Shui Wuji and Jinji hesitated for a moment and agreed to Yun Chujio's suggestion. If they did not break down, they would not be able to establish themselves. If they continued to search below, they might really have to return empty-handed. The three of them found a stone wall. Yun Chujio had made a lot of sand from the great void mystic realm and laid it under the stone wall. In this way, even if they really fell down, they would at least be able to keep their lives. Although Shui Wuji and Jinji were shocked that Yun Chujio had taken out so much sand, they did not pay too much attention to it when they thought that there was even a big rock in this storage ring. After Yun Chujio had laid out the sand, she then gave Shui Wuji and Jinji a lot of sticky silk. The three of them began to climb up the stone wall. The three of them climbed for a full 10 hours. From dawn till sunset, they finally reached the top of the stone wall. However, when the three of them saw the situation before them, they could not help but be greatly disappointed. They originally thought that there would be many fragments of the divine axe's outer shell on it, but they did not expect that there were many stones on the ground, but they were all ordinary stones. Other than the rocks on the ground, there were also many rocks of different sizes. The big ones were a few feet tall, while the small ones were only the size of a thumb. There were strange rocks all over the ground, and the whole place was desolate. There was not even a hint of life. Yun Chujio climbed onto a big rock and looked into the distance. Everything was the same except for the rocks. This guy couldn't help but feel frustrated. He had spent a lot of effort and almost fainted from exhaustion. He didn't even get a shard of the shell. He was really unlucky. The three of them originally planned to climb down, but it was getting late. They decided to sleep on the top of the mountain for a night and climb down the next day. The moon rose, and the light gently covered the entire deep pit. Yun Chujio was about to take out the universal tent to sleep when she heard a movement below the cliff. It seemed that someone was calling for help. Yun Chujio frowned. Could it be that someone had encountered a high-level demon beast? If they had encountered a high-level demon beast, wouldn't it be over? Was there a need to shout so loudly? Was it a bitter scene? Shui Wuji and Jin Ji also heard the movement. The three of them looked at each other, then quietly went to the side of the stone wall and looked down. Fortunately, it was the 15th night, and the moon was round and bright, so the three of them could see the general situation below. They saw a person stumbling in front of them, screaming for help while running, and behind him was a person emitting red light. Perhaps it could not be called a person, because that thing seemed to be floating, more like a remnant soul. Kiki, little ant, where are you running to? I've just awakened my intelligence, and you fresh blood slaves have come to my door. The heavens are really helping me. The person who was running in front saw that there was no hope of escaping, so he knelt on the ground. God spare me. God spare me. As long as you let me go, I'll do anything you want. God? Pooey. I'm not that kind of useless thing. I'm a shui mo. Back then, I was suppressed by the Heaven Punisher divine axe, and my soul was almost destroyed. Fortunately, the Heaven Punisher divine axe went missing and I was able to save my life. Now, fresh blood slaves like you have come to my doorstep. This is a good opportunity for me to make a comeback. Master Shui Mo, please spare my life. Master Shui Mo, please spare my life. As long as you let me go, I will definitely find more living people for you to enjoy. The man said with a trembling voice. Yun Chujio felt that this voice was somewhat familiar. It seemed to be Zhu Jingtai's voice. Shui Mo laughed strangely. Don't lie to me. I used the fragments of the godly axe's shell to attract you guys. Not a single fish escaped from the net. Where are you going to find fresh blood slaves for me? No. No. There are still 3 people who haven't been captured by you. One of them has a mutated wind spirit root, and the other one has a heavenly thunder spirit root. Their blood will definitely be very nutritious. I'll help you find them. Please don't kill me. Zhu Jingtai begged while kowtowing. Shui Mo's hand suddenly expanded and grabbed Zhu Jingtai's clothes. What did you say? There's another heavenly thunder spirit root? Where is he? She should have fallen behind. The 3 of them have low spiritual power, so they probably don't dare to walk too fast for fear of being attacked by demonic beasts. Master Shui Mo, what I said is true. Please spare me. Humph. Take me to them. If you find them, I will let you become the leader of the blood slaves and stop sucking your blood. If you can't find them, I will kill you directly. Shui Mo said sinisterly. Zhu Jingtai repeatedly promised, don't worry, they definitely won't be able to escape from your grasp. Not only is that wretched girl a heavenly thunder spirit root, I heard that she is also the darling of the Tiandao. Her blood must taste very good. Jia, I don't care if she is a darling or not, as long as she is a heavenly thunder spirit root, I will definitely drink her blood. Let's go, quickly bring me to find them. It was not until the figures of Shui Mo and Zhu Jingtai disappeared that Yun Chujio and the other 2 dared to quietly leave the stone wall. They ran for a long distance before they stopped. The 3 of them were shocked. It was the first time they heard that there were demons in this world. Didn't they say that demons had been extinct for hundreds of thousands of years? Why would there be one here? The first reaction of the 3 people was to activate the Jade token, wanting to get out. However, after they discovered that they had activated the Jade token, there was no reaction at all. It must be that Shui Mo did something. Otherwise, the others would have escaped long ago. Yun Chujio said with a frown. Then what should we do now? Although that Shui Mo wouldn't be able to find us for a while, from what it said, it was determined to get little Jio. Perhaps it would find a loophole and climb up to catch us. Jin Ji said with concern. Yun Chujio's eyes flashed with a trace of sternness. There's only one way now, and that's to strike first and find those trapped people. Only by gathering all of our strength can we have a glimmer of hope to kill Shui Mo. Shui Wuji nodded. I agree with little Jio. Shui Mo and Zhu Jingtai will need at least 2 to 3 days to search the entire divine axe pit. As long as we hurry up, we can find the place where the others are trapped. Jin Ji felt that it was a bit risky, but there was no better way, so she could only nod in agreement. According to the difference in strength between Zhu Jingtai and Shui Mo, the place where those people are trapped must not be far from here. But if we use sticky wires to climb down, it will be a waste of time. Let's use the rope to swing down. Yun Chujio rolled her eyes and said, "Little Jio, but this rope has to be fixed somewhere. There aren't any big trees here, so how can we use it to fix the rope?" Jin Ji looked around. There were only rocks and stones on the ground, so there was no way to fix the rope. Yun Chujio curled the corner of her mouth and pulled out Xiaohei. Then she said, "Let Mickey help us pull one end of the rope, and then we'll swing down one by one." Shui Wuji and Jin Ji were dumbfounded. "Xiaohei, are you sure you're not joking? This Xiaohei was not even a foot long. How could it bear the weight of a person?" Yun Chujio did not explain. She directly took out a bundle of rope and handed one end to Xiaohei. The other end was tied to her waist. Then she swung it down the stone wall. Jin Ji and Shui Wuji almost cried out in shock. This Xiaohei was really audacious. Wasn't he courting death? The two of them were about to help Xiaohei with the rope, but they were surprised to find that Xiaohei was completely at ease. It calmly grabbed the rope with its two front claws and sat on the ground without moving at all. Alright. A perverted spiritual pet was indeed perverse. Not long after, Yun Chujio swung onto the ground and then untied the rope around her waist. After Xiaohei pulled the rope up, it successively pulled Jin Ji and Shui Wuji down as well. Finally, Xiaohei released the rope. After Yun Chujio put the rope away, she placed dozens of sacks of talisman paper on the sand. Only then did Xiaohei jump down. Xiaohei was very light, and the floor was very thick, so Xiaohei landed on the ground safely. After Yun Chujio put Xiaohei into the spirit beast bag, she put the sand and talisman paper into her storage ring. After making sure that there was nothing wrong, the three of them carefully walked forward. Fortunately, there are many weeds under the stone wall. Otherwise, the sand would definitely expose us. It was so close, Yun Chujio said softly as she walked. Shui Wuji and Jin Ji were also very happy. If it weren't for the sudden urge of little Jio to climb up the stone wall, they would have been caught by the blood demon at this time. The three of them walked for an hour and didn't find anything unusual. Yun Chujio stopped. "No, logically speaking, Zhu Jingtai can't have run that far. We must have missed something. We'll continue to look for him later." After a while, Jin Ji said excitedly, "Here. There's something wrong here." Yun Chujio and Shui Wuji looked in the direction that Jin Ji was pointing at. It was an ancient tree, and it didn't seem like there was anything wrong with it. Shui Wuji looked at Jin Ji in confusion. "Jin Ji, what's wrong?" "It doesn't have a shadow." Jin Ji pointed at the ground and said. Yun Chujio and Shui Wuji took a look. Sure enough, there was no shadow on this huge ancient tree. This was obviously abnormal. This meant that this ancient tree didn't really exist. It was just an illusion to cover the entrance. Yun Chujio's heart skipped a beat. She used her spiritual sense and said, "Glass ball, all you do is eat all day. Now is the time for you to play your role. Hurry up and tell me, where is the entrance?" The black bead trembled lazily. Then, Yun Chujio felt her spiritual sense suddenly become clear. She waved at Shui Wuji and Jin Ji, indicating for them to follow behind her. Shui Wuji and Jin Ji followed Yun Chujio in all directions, as if they were walking in circles. However, they were surprised to find that the scene in front of them had changed. There were no big trees at all. Instead, there was a deep tunnel. One could vaguely smell the nauseating smell of blood. Yun Chujio took out the luminous bead to illuminate the tunnel. She saw that both sides of the tunnel were scattered with dried demon beast corpses. She thought to herself, no wonder she did not encounter any high-level demon beasts on the way. It turned out that they were all sucked dry by the Shuemo. She didn't know whether those students were dead or not, but from the Shuemo's words, it seemed like it was keeping them to slowly drink blood. It probably hadn't killed them yet. The three of them were afraid that the Shuemo would return, so they sped up and finally reached the end of the tunnel. At the end of the tunnel was a wide stone hall. There were several stone rooms around the stone hall. Inside were the first-year students of Xingtian Academy. Strangely, the stone room did not have a door, but those students were obediently staying inside. When they saw Yun Chujio and the other two, they did not have any reaction, as if they were dumbfounded. Yun Chujio frowned. Had they been fed with poison or had they fallen into an illusion? Why were they all dumbfounded? If they were to save a bunch of idiots, it would be better not to save them. Yun Chujio walked to the entrance of a stone room. The students inside were all from the star class. Yun Chujio immediately saw the dazed Mo Fangbing. She sat on the ground, her eyes empty. Yun Chujio waved her hand in front of her, but there was no reaction at all. Yun Chujio threw half a basin of water at her, but there was still no reaction. Yun Chujio and the other two looked at each other. This was bad. Maybe they're afraid of pain. I'll give it a try. Jinji took out a needle and stabbed Mo Fangbing's arm. Jinji would never admit that she did it on purpose. She simply hated this Mo Fangbing to death. If it wasn't for little Jiao, would she have been able to enter Xingtian Academy? Little Jiao was even prepared to let Mo Fangbing move into her courtyard. In the end, the other party actually took the initiative to draw a line between them. What was more hateful was that when Zhu Jingtai and little Jiao were arguing, she actually hit them while they were down. What an ingrate! She probably knew that little Jiao had been adopted to the Yi family as the daughter of the first wife, and her intestines were turning green with regret. She deserved it. Jinji fiercely stabbed her a few times, but Mo Fangbing was still in a daze. She couldn't even feel the pain. Just as Yun Chujio and the other two were frowning, the sound of walking could be heard from the tunnel. The three of them were shocked. It was over. Shui Mo must have returned. What should they do? Yun Chujio rolled her eyes. The three of them dragged Mo Fangbing to the innermost part of the stone chamber. Then, they pushed the others to the front to cover up the water stains on the ground. The three of them lowered their heads and pretended to be as stunned as the others. Shui Mo walked into the stone chamber and threw Zhu Jingtai on the ground. Strange. I clearly felt that someone touched the array. How could there be no one? Zhu Jingtai knelt down and crawled a few steps. Master Shui Mo, it might be Yun Chujio and the other two. They must be nearby, you can catch them soon. What you said makes sense. But I'm hungry, I'll drink some blood first, then I'll go out to look for them. Shui Mo waved his hand as he spoke, and a student flew to his side. He grabbed him and bit down on the student's neck. A moment later, the student was thrown back into the stone room and another student was grabbed by Shui Mo to suck his blood. After a total of 10 students, Shui Mo used his tongue to lick the blood on the side of his mouth. Jia, if I didn't want to drink for a longer period of time, I would have sucked them dry. Zhu Jingtai was already trembling. Shui Mo kicked him and said, useless thing. If you want to become the leader of the blood slaves, you have to drink blood too. You go and get someone. Drink a few mouthfuls of his blood, or I will kill you. Zhu Jingtai stood up and walked to the door of a stone room. However, he realized that all the students were from the day class, so he couldn't bring himself to do it. Therefore, he turned around and walked towards the stone room of the star class. Yun Chujio's heart was like a beeping dog. This damn Zhu Jingtai. There were a total of 10 stone rooms here. Which one of them was bad? Why did he have to choose this stone room? Zhu Jingtai walked to the door of the stone room where Yun Chujio and the others were. He trembled and grabbed a student. He tried a few times, but he still couldn't make a move. Shui Mo was impatient. Useless thing. If you still don't make a move, I'll suck you dry first. Zhu Jingtai gritted his teeth and took out a dagger. I was forced to. I'll only drink a few mouthfuls of your blood. It won't kill you. Don't blame me. As Zhu Jingtai spoke, he held the dagger in his hand and was about to cut the student's neck, but he suddenly stopped. He shouted excitedly, Master Shui Mo! Master Shui Mo! Something is wrong here. There is water on the ground. It must be Yun Chujio and the other two. Yun Chujio gritted her teeth in anger. If Shui Mo found them later, she would not do anything else but kill Zhu Jingtai first. Yun Chujio and the other two girls' hearts were in their throats. They hated Zhu Jingtai to death in their hearts. It was over. Shueremo would definitely find out something was wrong after he shouted, "Jia Jia, you idiot! It was just that little weakling who peed his pants. Didn't you see that his crotch was wet? Humans are indeed useless ants. Stop dawdling. Suck it quickly, or it'll suck you dry," Shuemo said disdainfully. Yun Chujio. Shuewuji. Jinji. Zhu Jingtai didn't dare to dawdle any longer. He picked up a dagger and cut a wound on the student's neck. After sucking 2 mouthfuls of blood, he squatted by the side and began to retch. Shueremo waved his sleeve, and Zhu Jingtai was immediately sent flying. Trash. Zhu Jingtai quickly got up and said submissively, "Sir Shuemo, I'm just not used to it. I won't do it again in the future." Useless thing, why aren't you leading the way? When I think of the blood of that heavenly thunder spirit root, I can't stop my saliva. Shuemo said with a strange laugh. Zhu Jingtai staggered into the tunnel with Shuemo. Just as Jin Ji was about to move, Yun Chujio held her hand. Sure enough, Shuemo returned. He glanced around the stone hall and saw that there was nothing unusual. Then he turned around and returned to the tunnel. After another 15 minutes, Yun Chujio saw that there was nothing unusual. Then she signaled that Jin Ji could speak. "Little Jio, these people are like idiots. What should we do next?" Yun Chujio frowned. "I don't know if these people were poisoned or what, but they didn't have any reaction even after their blood was sucked. We must find a way to make them return to normal. Otherwise, the 3 of us won't be able to deal with that Shuemo." Yun Chujio took out a clear heart pill and fed it to Mo Fangbing. She was pleasantly surprised to find that Mo Fangbing's eyes moved a little. It seemed that the clear heart pill was useful, but its effect was not strong enough. Yun Chujio simply fed a bottle of clear heart pills to Mo Fangbing. Only then did Mo Fangbing completely return to normal. Seeing Yun Chujio and the other 2, it was as if they had seen a life-saving straw. "Feng Chao, let's run away quickly. That thing is too terrifying. If it comes back, it will kill us." Yun Chujio glanced at her. "Do you think we can escape? The jade token can't be activated now. I reckon we can only leave after we kill that Shuemo." Mo Fangbing's face was pale. "That thing is not human at all. It spat out a red mist at us, and we couldn't help ourselves. I knew everything with my spiritual sense just now, but my body didn't listen to me at all. How could we kill it? If it's not us, aren't there still 600 people here? Stop wasting time. Take out the pills in your storage ring that can clear your mind and feed it to them. Hurry up," Yun Chujio said as she continued to take the pills to save the others. Mo Fangbing did not dare to say anything more and quickly followed her instructions. The students who were woken up followed suit and started to save the other students. Yun Chujio asked while saving the students, "How did you all get caught by that Shuemo?" Mo Fangbing told them what had happened. These students were attracted by the fragments of the Heaven Punisher axe. They found the fragments near the cave and were driven into the tunnel by greed. When they reached the tunnel, they were subdued by Shuemo in batches. "How did Zhu Jingtai escape?" Yun Chujio asked in confusion. "He was going to come in, but he had a stomachache, so he was a little late. He probably saw our situation and ran away," said Li Huan, who helped Yun Chujio to count. "When that Shuemo sprayed the poisonous fog, would you be affected immediately? Or would you need to wait for a while? How many people would be affected by its poisonous fog once?" Yun Chujio continued to ask. "The body will slowly stiffen about 15 minutes. It can cover a distance of 40 to 50 zhang with its poisonous fog once. If it's outside the attack range, it won't be affected," Li Huan said eagerly. Yun Chujio nodded. Based on her initial judgment, that Shueremo didn't wake up for a long time. Otherwise, the students from the Heaven Punisher Academy wouldn't be safe. Since he had just awakened, his strength was definitely still very weak. If everyone worked together, their chances of winning were still very high. An hour later, everyone in the stone hall returned to normal. Yun Chujio said solemnly, "Everyone, you've all seen it. that Shueremo isn't something that we can deal with alone or with a few people. We must unite. As long as we work together, we can definitely kill it. Don't think that you can get away with anything. Our jade tokens are no longer effective. In this deep pit, we are like lambs waiting to be slaughtered. If we are a pile of loose sand, we can only be slaughtered. Li Huan immediately echoed, Miss Yun, our lives were saved by you. We will do whatever you say. With someone taking the lead, the rest of the people also expressed their stance, indicating that they were willing to listen to Yun Chujia's arrangements. Even if some people, such as Jai Shanshan, were not willing, they did not dare to have any objections at this moment for the sake of their own lives. All right, since you insist, I will reluctantly agree to your request. But let's be clear. If anyone does not listen to my orders, don't blame me for being ruthless. Yun Chujio straightened her back, her sharp eyes swept across everyone. Everyone felt that Yun Chujia's gaze seemed to have substance. They could not help but feel a chill in their hearts. The people who had some petty schemes immediately scared away those thoughts. The space here is narrow. It's advantageous to us. Let's rush out. Everyone did not dare to have any objections. They followed Yun Chujio out of the tunnel and arrived outside. Yun Chujio felt that Shueremo and Zhu Jingtai must have returned to that dense forest to look for them. If they failed to find them, they would return by the same route. Therefore, setting up an ambush along the path that they had to pass was the best choice. Thinking of this, Yun Chujio chose a shrub and asked everyone to spread out and hide in the shrub. Bring this thing with you and put the upper clear heart pill in your mouth. You can last for at least 15 minutes. When attacking, try to use long-range attacks. If someone is poisoned, your companions will immediately stuff the pill into his mouth. Do you hear me? Yun Chujio took out a self-made gas mask painfully. She distributed it to everyone. There were only a few dozen gas masks left in Yun Chujio's storage ring. It was obviously not enough. Yun Chujio asked everyone to make their own gas masks. There was no charcoal powder. She asked them to put some mind-clearing herbs or hay inside. In short, they could more or less play a role. Just as the east was about to turn white, Shueremo carried Zhu Jingtai and rushed back from afar. Yun Chujio could not help but have a thought. She heard that vampires were afraid of the sun. Could it be that Shueremo was also afraid of the sun? That was why he rushed back? Occasionally missing content, please report errors in time. Yun Chujio was afraid that Shueremo would discover their ambush, so she deliberately walked a mile forward in order to attract Shuemo's attention. When Shueremo was about to reach Yun Chujio's hiding place, he suddenly stopped and laughed strangely. Who's sneaking around there? Come out now. It must be the girl with the heavenly thunder spirit root. Yun Chujio rolled her eyes and jumped out with her gas mask. Hey, why are you looking for me, you blood-sucking old bat? Zhu Jingtai pointed at Yun Chujio and said obsequiously to Shueremo, Master Shueremo, she is Yun Chujio with the heavenly thunder spirit root. Please catch her. Kiki, it's so easy to find her. I've been looking for you for a whole night, and you came to me of your own accord. What a good fortune. Shueremo spat out poisonous mist at Yun Chujio as he spoke. He thought that Yun Chujio would lose her ability to move and eventually become his blood slave. Sure enough, Yun Chujio exclaimed and said anxiously, Oh my God, why can't my arms, legs, and soles listen to me? You old bat, what the hell are you spitting out? Zhu Jingtai said arrogantly at the side, Yun Chujio, aren't you the darling of Tiandao? Pooey, you revealed your true form when you met Shueremo, right? Shueremo spat out poisonous fog, just wait for your death. Yun Chujio cursed in her heart, reveal my true form. She wasn't some fox turned into a demon, reveal my true form. This Zhu Jingtai had walked further and further on the road of courting death. She didn't even need to make a move. The students of Xingtian Academy would teach him a lesson. Although Yun Chujio thought so in her heart, she said, What? Is it the poisonous fog? It's over. Then won't I be dead? Hearing Yun Chujio's words, Zhu Jingtai became even more arrogant. Sir Blood Demon, this Yun Chujio is definitely in your bag. I think Xue Wuji and Jin Ji must be nearby. I'll go find them for you. Zhu Jingtai thought that Xueremo would be very happy to hear that. He didn't expect Xueremo to snort coldly. Take this back to the cave first. I'll come out to find the remaining two at night. Hearing Xuemo's words, Yun Chujio was even more certain that Xuemo must be afraid of the sunlight. This was even easier. If she could delay until the sun rose, she could definitely kill it. Thinking of this, Yun Chujio said to Xuemo, "Why do you have to drink my blood? I have a lot of spirit stones, I will give them all to you. Can you not drink my blood?" Xuemo curled his lips. "You are indeed a stupid human. Cut the crap and follow me." As Xuemo said this, its right arm suddenly expanded and grabbed towards Yun Chujio's neck. It thought that it would definitely hit Yun Chujio in one hit. After all, Yun Chujio had already been poisoned by its poisonous mist. Unexpectedly, its right hand was about to grab Yun Chujio's neck. Yun Chujio's body avoided its right hand at a strange angle. "Damn it, old bat, are you serious? You want to drink my blood? Dream on." Yun Chujio said as she threw several bolts of lightning towards Xuemo. Xuemo subconsciously took a few steps back. Lightning was an extremely masculine and young item. Its subconscious mind was very afraid of lightning. Yun Chujio's eyes lit up. "Ha! So you're afraid of my little Jio's thunderbolt? Then die." Yun Chujio shot out several more purple bolts of lightning towards Xuemo. Xuemo saw that although Yun Chujio's lightning was purple, its power was not very strong. He sneered and said, "Damn girl. Do you think I'm afraid of your little lightning bolts? I was just teasing you just now. Prepare to die." Xuemo spat out another mouthful of poisonous mist at Yun Chujio as he spoke. Although his strength was extremely heaven-defying in the past, he had been suppressed for so many years and had just awakened. His strength was less than 1/100th of his previous strength. He could only rely on the poisonous mist to win. If Xuemo's strength was not greatly reduced now, he would not have failed to notice that there were many people hiding in the bushes in the distance. Xuemo had thought that Yun Chujio would definitely become more stiff after the poisonous mist was sprayed out. Who would have thought that Yun Chujio would not only not slow down, but become more active instead? "Hey, you old bat, you still call yourself a Xuemo? I see that you are just a smelly bat who does not dare to see others. How can someone like you be called a demon? You are really shameless. If all demons are as cowardly as you, why don't you just change your name to Bastard Demon? Look at you, you're simply brainless. What kind of place is this? This is the place where the Heaven Punisher Divine Axe was born. You, an old bat, actually dared to behave atrociously here. I think you've had enough of living." Xuemo's aura kept howling. When had it ever been cursed like this? Even the person who had subdued it had never belittled it like this. However, it was just too weak now. Even after a long time, it was still unable to restrain Yun Chujio. Xuemo glared at Zhu Jingtai at the side. "You piece of trash. What are you still standing there for? Hurry up and help me catch this smelly girl." "Zhu Jingtai, if you dare to help the old bat, I'll kill you," Yun Chujio said fiercely. Zhu Jingtai couldn't help but shiver, but when he remembered the matter of kneeling to Yun Chujio, he felt disgusted and said with a sinister smile, "Bitch! You can't even protect yourself, and you still dare to threaten me?" That Yun Chujio sneered. She was really courting death. It would be a waste if she didn't kill him today. Yun Chujio had already probed the depth of Xuemo, so there was no need to hide it. She whistled, and the people who were lying in ambush rushed over. Xuemo was shocked. How was this possible? How did all these people escape? No wonder he felt that someone had touched the array formation. It was them. Zhu Jingtai almost collapsed to the ground. He knew that these people would not spare him, especially after he drank the blood of one of them. It was over. He could only hope that these people were not Xuemo's match. Otherwise, there was no way for him to survive. However, when he saw that those people had the same thing on their faces as Yun Chujio, his heart turned cold. It was because of this mask that Yun Chujio was not afraid of Shui Mo's poisonous fog. Those people probably were not afraid of Shui Mo's poisonous fog either. Those students followed Yun Chujio's instructions and began to attack Shui Mo with their spiritual power. Some students hated that Zhu Jingtai was in cahoots with Shui Mo, so some directly attacked Shui Mo with their spiritual power. Yun Chujio had already jumped to the side and attacked Shui Mo with the others. At this time, the sun had already risen from the east, and Shui Mo's figure became a little faint. Shui Mo was in a hurry to get away and rushed to the students in front of it, spitting out poisonous fog as it rushed. "Stop it! It's already at the end of its flight. If we let it escape, there will be endless trouble in the future." Yun Chujio hurriedly shouted to the others. Those students might have been caught by the Shui Mo previously, so they had a shadow. Therefore, even though they heard Yun Chujio's shout, they knew what to do. However, they could not help but avoid it. Yun Chujio was so angry that she gritted her teeth. She could only let the little black bird curse. She was trying her best. The little black bird had cursed humans and demonic beasts before. However, this was the first time it had cursed a demon. She did not know whether it would be useful or not. Xiao Hanio wasn't sure either. Shui Mo wasn't like a human or a demon beast that was steady on the ground. Would it work? Xiao Hanio didn't care and started to curse. Shui Mo saw that everyone made a gap and ran towards it happily. At this moment, it felt its body leaning forward involuntarily. Although its body wasn't solid, it slowed down when it leaned forward. Seeing this, Yun Chujio shot out several bolts of lightning at it. However, these bolts of lightning contained the small flame of the 10,000-year-old fire marrow. Yun Chujio had never thought about the small flame. She did not expect that the small flame would take the initiative to attack this time. Although Shui Mo had sensed Yun Chujio's sneak attack from behind, it did not pay much attention to it. This little ant's strength was still very weak, so its damage was limited. The reason why it was in a hurry to escape was not because it was afraid of the students of Xingtian Academy, but because it was afraid of the sun in the sky. Thinking of this, Shui Mo did not dodge at all. Instead, it prepared to continue running forward. Otherwise, as time passed, the stronger the sun's rays were, the greater the damage it would suffer. Therefore, Yun Chujio's lightning bolts and the small flame hidden within them struck Shui Mo's back. Shui Mo let out a shrill scream. Just like how it was afraid of Yun Chujio's lightning bolts, the 10,000-year-old fire marrow was also an extremely masculine and yang item. Shui Mo's figure was instantly burned by the small flame, leaving a hole in it. Yun Chujio's eyes lit up. "Io, the small flame was really something." Yun Chujio shouted at the crowd, "Fire spirit root, attack it together. Since it's afraid of the sun, it must be afraid of fire." The reason why Yun Chujio shouted like that was because, firstly, she felt that Shui Mo was afraid of fire. Secondly, it was to hide the existence of small flames. After all, if the crowd could not see through it once, there would be a flaw if they used it a few more times. Those students were upset about their cowardice just now. When they heard Yun Chujio's words, the fire spirit root students immediately began to attack Shui Mo. If they were not fire spirit root students, they might as well take out a fire fuse or fire stone to light something and throw it at Shui Mo. The crowd picked up firewood and the flames were high. What if it was useful? Shui Mo screamed miserably as he was burned. Several holes were burned on his body, and his figure became fainter and fainter. Just when everyone thought that they could burn him to death, Shui Mo summoned several pieces of the shell of the godly axe. Those pieces formed a stone egg, and Shui Mo's body turned into a wisp of red smoke and drilled into it. Everyone was stunned at first, and then they continued to use fire to attack. Yun Chujio also used lightning with a small flame, but the stone egg was extremely hard. There was not even a single crack. Everyone was dumbfounded. Everyone used axes to chop and fire to burn. They used all the methods they could, but they still could not break the stone egg. Even though they knew that Shui Mo was hidden inside the stone egg, they still could not break it. Could it be that they could only let it go? Someone tried to activate the jade token, but it still did not work. It seemed that they had to kill this Shuemo before they could get out. Yun Chujio frowned. It was daytime now, and they could still use the sun to control the Shuemo. If it was nighttime, the Shuemo would definitely counterattack. At that time, all their efforts would be for naught. Since no one could open the stone egg, they vented their anger on Zhu Jingtai and beat him to death. Yun Chujio did not have the time to care about his life and death. All her attention was on the stone egg. How could she open the stone egg? Yun Chujio tried to use the small needle of spiritual power, but unfortunately, the small needle of spiritual power could not penetrate the stone egg at all. In fact, the stone egg was made of the shell of the Heaven Punisher Divine Axe, so it was naturally extremely hard. Time passed quickly. In the blink of an eye, it was already evening. In less than 2 hours, the sun would set. What Yun Chujio thought of, everyone also thought of. Once the sun set, Shuemo would definitely make a comeback. What should they do? Yun Chujio, why don't we bury this stone egg? Bury it deep? A student said. Yun Chujio was speechless. Could she be any more stupid? Shuemo didn't have a physical body, so what was the point of burying it deep? Yun Chujio, why don't we throw this stone egg far away? As long as it can't find us before dawn, we won't be afraid of it. Yun Chujio felt that this idea was alright, but it was probably too late now. According to their speed, Shuemo could catch up to them in 2 hours. Moreover, this was a way to treat the symptoms but not the root of the problem. Even if they could avoid Shuemo, they would not be able to avoid him. When Yun Chujio told them her idea, everyone immediately felt discouraged. This was not going to work either. Could it be that they could only wait for Shuemo to counterattack? Yun Chujio was also very angry. She looked at Shurdan on the ground and scolded, "No matter what, you used to be the shell of the Heaven Punisher Divine Axe. How can you protect a demon? Are you stupid?" Yun Chujio was also desperate. It was unlikely that this piece of stone would have sentience. If it had sentience, it would not have been controlled by Shuemo. She was just venting her anger. The more Yun Chujio thought about it, the angrier she got. She kicked the stone egg. Perhaps she used too much strength, but she actually kicked the stone egg onto the stone wall. Then this guy sadly discovered that 2/3 of the stone egg was embedded in the stone wall. She wanted to pull the stone egg out, but no matter how hard she tried, she could not pull it out. This fellow stomped her feet in anger and subconsciously took out a large kitchen knife and slashed at the stone egg. The knife slashed down, and this fellow also regretted it. Although this large kitchen knife had been stolen from the Ling Hua sect's large kitchen, it had followed her for several years. Not only had it chopped firewood and cut demon beast meat, but it had also helped her extort quite a number of spirit stones. With this slash, this large kitchen knife was probably going to be crippled. However, because she was too angry, she used too much strength, and it was already too late for her to withdraw her hand. All of this happened in the midst of sparks. Yun Chujio only heard a clear clang sound, and the stone egg was actually cut into 2 halves. The stone egg once again turned into pieces, and Shuemo jumped out from within. The large kitchen knife in Yun Chujio's hand had slipped out of her hand because she used too much strength, and with a clang, it fell to the ground. At this moment, Shuemo was dumbfounded. It thought that it was safe to hide in the stone egg. When it came out at night, it would be able to take revenge. Who would have thought that the stone egg was broken? How could it be broken? It was obviously not a good time to consider this question. It grabbed Yun Chujio's neck. Yun Chujio was too surprised because of the broken eggshell, so she did not have time to react. Being ambushed by Shuemo, one could imagine the frustration in her heart. "Jia Jia, you stinky girl. I've never suffered such a huge loss before. However, as long as I drink your blood, my cultivation will recover a lot. The heavens don't want me to die." Shuemo shouted excitedly. Yun Chujio was strangled and couldn't speak at all. She could only keep flailing around like a chick being strangled. Everyone was stunned. No one had expected such a turn of events. What should they do now? Zhai Shanshan shouted, "Let's use fire to attack. We have to kill Shuemo first." Otherwise, when the sun sets, we will be dead. When Jinji heard what Zhai Shanshan said, she roared angrily, "Little Jiao is still in its hands. If it uses fire to attack, what will little Jiao do?" Zhai Shanshan snorted coldly. "This is something that cannot be helped. Do you want everyone to be buried with her?" Jinji was trembling with anger. You are simply ungrateful. If it was not for little Jiao, would you have escaped from the cave? Now, you actually want to repay kindness with hatred. You are simply inhuman. 1 yard is 1 yard. I'm naturally grateful that she saved me, but now she can't be the cause of all of us being buried together, right? Don't you agree? Zhai Shanshan turned to ask the other students. Everyone's reactions were different. Although some did not say anything, they were already prepared to attack. It was obvious that they agreed with Zhai Shanshan's idea. Some people looked like they were struggling. It was obvious that they did not know if they were protecting their lives against their conscience or sticking to their morals. Some of them looked disapproving. They clearly felt that Zhai Shanshan's actions were no different from Zhu Jingtai's. Yun Chujiao, this fellow, was being strangled by Shui Mo. She actually had the leisure to record the performance of these people in the Black Book. It had to be said that this fellow's heart was big enough. This fellow knew that in order to recover her power, Shui Mo would not kill her. It would feed her slowly and drink her blood. However, how could he escape? He could not really be killed by his own people, right? Shui Mo heard what Zhai Shanshan said. He could not help but laugh strangely. Jia, I told you that humans are the most selfish and despicable species. You see, it's true, right? Stupid girl, what's the use of you saving them? In the end, don't they still have to sacrifice you? Some people could not help but look ashamed when they heard Shui Mo's words. Yes, if they really sacrificed Yun Chujiao, then what was the difference between them and a demon? Those who were initially hesitant, upon hearing Shui Mo's words, became firm in their beliefs and stood on Jinji's side. Zhai Shanshan was afraid that the more time passed, the bigger the change would be. She said to those who agreed with her, "What are all of you still standing there for? Hurry up and use fire to attack Shui Mo." Shui Wuji, Jinji, and the others naturally would not let them do that. They blocked the way in front of them, and the situation was in a stalemate for a moment. Shui Mo lowered his head and wanted to bite Yun Chujia's neck. No matter what, he wanted to drink some blood to replenish his strength. Just as Shui Mo's mouth was about to touch Yun Chujia's neck, the large kitchen knife suddenly flew up from the ground and slashed at Shui Mo. Shui Mo felt the wind behind him, and he flicked his sleeve carelessly. He thought that he would definitely be able to deflect the large kitchen knife, but he did not expect that the moment the large kitchen knife hit his body, an intense tearing pain came from his body. It was even more painful than being burned by a small flame. Shui Mo suddenly trembled, and he even let go of Yun Chujia's hand. He recalled the days when he was suppressed by the Heaven Punisher divine axe. Could it be? No, it was impossible. Shui Mo did not continue to think because the kitchen knife seemed to have gone mad as it continued to hit his body. Wherever the kitchen knife slashed, Shui Mo's body instantly turned into nothingness. Yun Chujiao coughed for a while, and the small flame in her hand also hacked towards Shui Mo. Damn it. It almost turned into its melodious beauty, burning you to death. The students of Xingtian Academy also reacted and began to fire at Shui Mo. All kinds of fire-type attacks smashed towards Shui Mo. Finally, Shui Mo's body completely disappeared. The large kitchen knife fell to the ground with a clang, as if everything before was just an illusion. Someone tried to activate the Jade token and was actually teleported out. Zhai Shanshan and the others could not wait to activate the Jade token, afraid that Yun Chujiao would seek revenge on them. Yun Chujiao was not too anxious. It was obvious that the Shui Mo had already dissipated. Even if they were lucky enough to survive, it would not cause any harm to them for a while. This fellow picked up the large kitchen knife and took a look. The large kitchen knife could actually split open the stone eggs and even kill the Shui Mo. Could it be the Xingtian godly axe? Yun Chujiao shook her head. It couldn't be, right? Putting aside its appearance, this big kitchen knife was found in the Qing Xian continent. How could the Heaven Punisher axe have come to the Qing Xian continent? Yun Chujio couldn't figure it out for a moment, so she simply put away the big kitchen knife. Then, she very naturally put away the large pile of axe shell fragments on the ground into her storage ring. Although everyone saw it, they felt that Yun Chujio deserved it, so no one said anything. On the contrary, everyone thanked Yun Chujio for saving them. Yun Chujio saw that the rest of them had different opinions from Zhai Shanshan and the others, so she smiled and said to everyone, "I saved you once, and you saved me just now. Let's call it even." Everyone was not stupid. They knew that Yun Chujio said this to make them feel better, and they felt even more grateful. They felt that the contempt they had for Yun Chujio in the past was extremely stupid. If it were not for Yun Chujio this time, they would definitely have died in this sinkhole. Yun Chujio was their savior. Yun Chujio saw that there was nothing else, and the sky was getting dark. She said to everyone, "Let's leave this place too. Otherwise, Zhai Shanshan and the others might change the truth. Li Huan, take Zhu Jingtai's body with you. Don't let others make a fuss over his death." Li Huan nodded. He put Zhu Jingtai's body into his storage ring as Yun Chujio said. Everyone activated their jade tokens and were teleported out. However, Yun Chujio and the other two strangely realized that while everyone else was out, the three of them were actually left behind. Fuck. They must have been tricked. If I find out who is behind this, I'll kill him. Yun Chujio was so angry that she threw her head back and roared. On the other side, after the Xingtian Academy students were sent out, they heard that Zhai Shanshan and the others were twisting black and white, and they immediately retorted angrily. The Divine Axe Square was already in a mess. Zhai Shanshan and the others had made up a story, and the students who came out later on made up another story. For a time, the teachers of Xingtian Academy were all confused. Chuemo? There was actually a Shui Mo imprisoned in the Divine Axe Crater. However, even though Zhai Shanshan and the others had twisted the truth, what kind of people were Dean Gong's son and the others? How could they not be able to tell the truth from the lies? Very quickly, the lies of Zhai Shanshan and the others were exposed. They were ordered to take care of them first before they were dealt with according to the rules of the academy. At this moment, someone exclaimed, "Yun Chujio and the other two actually did not come out. What should we do?" At this moment, everyone realized that there was really no trace of Yun Chujio and the other two. What was going on? Dean Gong's son frowned. Putting aside the fact that Yun Chujio was now the direct daughter of the Yi family, just because she saved everyone, she couldn't just stand by and watch as something happened to her. "Teacher Pang, bring some people into the sinkhole and save them." Teacher Pang immediately ordered a few people to enter the teleportation array. He never expected that the teleportation array would explode with a bang. A thought appeared in everyone's mind. It was over. Yun Chujio and the other two would never be able to come out again. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.